Hello and welcome to GoLive.com, and this is Tabish, and here I'm presenting you today the use of base keyword and concept of a static constructor. So first of all, you will go through the use of base keyword in C#. Basically there are three usage with constructor. Second is with when we are having same variable in base class and the drive class, and thirdly when we are having same method name in base and drive. So wait, we will go slowly and just see every demo. So this is my Visual Studio, and here I am just adding one class file. We have to go to the add new item or class. So we have two choices, either we go through the new item or using class. So for now I'm just picking this class. So just I'm giving the base class or my base class. Alright, so I'm just adding and just making it public so that I can access it from anywhere. And here I'm having one public int id, one instance member. Okay, and what I'm doing, I'm just adding one more class, and making use as a drive class, my drive class. Alright, so here it is. Just making it public, and suppose for now I'm giving you the demonstration of second one, that is same variable name. Then I will discuss constructor side. So suppose here we also have the same variable name, public int id, and I'm inheriting this my base class here. So obviously my base class public member, this public int id, I'm just increase the font first, I'm sorry. Yep. So we are having a base class. In this base class we are having one data member id. I'm having one drive class which is inheriting my base class, and I am having here also public int id. Now what I want, I'm having one method public void display, and suppose I am having int x comma int y. I'll pass two parameters from the main to the display method, and I wanted x should assign to the id of the drive and y should assign to the id of base. But when compilers comes into the display function, it becomes confused, because I haven't provided anything to distinguish between this id and this id. So in order to overcome this ambiguity, when the two variables having the same name in drive and base, we put base keyword. So if I put base dot id, then it will call the base class id, and when I put normal id, then it will call the drive class instance member. That is the one of the use of base keyword. So just run it. So to run, we need to make the object for the drive class, So my drive class obj is equals to new my base class, and here I am calling obj dot display method, and we will pass, let us suppose 2, 3, and let's see when we will print console dot write line x and id drive id and base id. So for the base id we will use base dot id. Well, simply run it. And we can see drive is we have passed 2 and base id we have passed 3. Just to give the space here. Yeah, here it is. So we learned here, when we have same instance data member in base and drive class, we can use base keyword to distinguish between them. Otherwise ambiguity will be created. Well, this is the first use. Then second use of the base keyword is, suppose I am having a constructor. So my drive constructor is a special kind of method which is having same name as that of class name. There is no there is no return type associated with the constructor. Constructor could have the default as well as overloaded. So one of the parameter, I'm just introducing here one of the parameterized constructor, for example, and as well as the default constructor. First of all, I will make it the default constructor. So my drive class, this is our default constructor. Console write line, I'm default, and I'm making for the base class my base class console dot write line. I'm also default from base. Default means there is no parameter. You're not passing any kind of parameters to the constructor. Now let's see what happens when I call it like okay, it's saying this method is inaccessible due to protection level, is because we haven't put public, because otherwise by default it's private. That's why we need to make it as public. And yep, public, and here we go. Alright, so when I call it, so what happens, we can see I am also default from base is called first, and then I am default from the drive is called second. So in inheritance, the calling of the constructor, the order of the constructor calling is always from base to child drive. That's why base class constructor has called first and then drive class constructor called. But this order will follow for the default one. What happens if I put public my drive class with one parameter index, and I'm just keeping this console.writeLine. I'm drive constructor with parameter. I'm also making here one parameterized constructor, and let's see what happens. Public int x console.writeLine. I'm from base with parameter, and now I'm just commenting this. For now, we can pass one parameter, I guess, right? There's a 2 already index, yeah. So if I pass 2, see what we are getting. We are getting I'm also default from base, and I'm drive constructor with parameter, but we are not getting the base class parameterized constructor. Base class parameterized constructor could not call default, cannot call automatically, implicitly from the drive class. What I mean, if a base class is having if the base class carry a constructor which is parameterized constructor, cannot be called from the drive class constructor implicitly. We have to call it explicitly. To explicitly call, we need to put a base keyword here, like this question. Give colon and put base keyword, and just pass the parameter whatever you wish. So let us suppose 3. So this base 3 will call here, will copied here. It will pass 3 to the x and will print the I am from base with parameter. So let's see what happens now. I am from base with parameter. I am from base with parameter. You can see, right? I am drive constructor with parameter. And in one important point, we are not getting I'm also default from base, because right now we are explicitly telling I want only this. That's why. So this is the second use of the base keyword. The first use, when you have two instance member having the same name in base class and drive class, we can use base keyword like we have seen here. And the second use, when you want to explicitly call the base class constructor, parameterized constructor from the drive class when you are creating the object of the drive class. So this would be the one of the methods. The third use is, suppose you have one method in base class, public void display, and here console.writeLine, I am display method from base class. And suppose you are also having display method in drive class like this, right? And for now I'm making it as let us suppose here also int x comma int y. So everything is same. And if you wish to call the display method of base class using object of drive class, you would have only one choice: use base dot display and pass it here. Let us suppose 3,5, whatever it be. So this display with base keyword will call the base class display of this my drive class. So just run it.